Good morning. Well, it's morning here. Okay, I'm going to get ready a little bit while I wait and see if anybody joins our live. I'm Catherine. I am here in Costa Rica, so it's morning here. I know many of you are in other time zones, but it's a beautiful morning here in the southern zone of Costa Rica. So just going to wait a moment and see if anybody joins in. Hi! Hi, Ashley and Jillian. I was just getting ready a little bit. Can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up in the comments? I just want to see if it's working. Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started because it's time. So yeah, good morning. It's morning here in Costa Rica. It's 8 o'clock in the morning here, and we're in the southern zone of Costa Rica. So I know both of the ladies that are here, but for anybody who's going to watch this later, I'm Catherine. Um, I live here in Costa Rica helping run a luxury glamping retreat called Kinkara, and I'm also a home herbalist. I've been studying with friends and um, videos and self studying for probably about 6 years now, and I make a lot of products for my family. I don't have any clinical training, but I love making things for my friends and family. So I'm going to share 3 recipes today. And so the first one that we're going to do is called fire cider. And fire cider was originally created by Rosemary Gladstar, formulated by Rosemary Gladstar, who's known as the fairy godmother of herbalism. This is one of my favorite books by her. It's her Herbal Recipes for Vibrant Health. I've met her. She's like a super sweet old lady who seems like a little fairy. But in the 1970s, she formulated this recipe, and many people are familiar who have used herbal medicine are familiar with tinctures, and generally the tinctures that you buy are extracted in alcohol or glycerin. Alcohol is stronger, but glycerin people choose for children or for people who don't consume alcohol. But Rosemary came up with this because she wanted to popularize vinegar extracted tinctures. Basically, a tincture can be made with anything, any solvent. And so vinegar, and in this case, apple cider vinegar, works as our solvent. And apple cider vinegar has its own health benefits. So you kind of get a double whammy with this. So what we're going to do is prepare some ingredients, and we're going to put them into a quart jar. So you can use a ball jar, or these are the kind of quart jars that are easy to get in Costa Rica. So you prepare this, and then we're going or have this ready and nice and clean. And then we're going to go ahead and add our ingredients. So the traditional recipe for fire cider started with just onions, garlic, horseradish, and cayenne pepper. It's a mix of really pungent ingredients that are easy to get and and it's called fire cider because of all that pungent flavor and that and the warming quality of it. And so it's great for cold and flu season. It's great for anytime you need that warming in your if you have a cold, damp constitution. This is also a great recipe. So I don't have horseradish here because I've never found it in Costa Rica, but I have some lovely other things that grow locally here, and that's one of the nice things about fire cider is you can customize it. So there's kind of some basics that you want to stick to, but then there you can add and subtract and do what you will. So I will explain as we go. So the first, we're going to start with the most, I'm going to give you a view of my chopping board here a little bit. So we're going to start with some onions, and you just, it's not an exact science, but a medium onion here. And it doesn't have to be an amazing chop or anything. You just slice it up and put it in your jar. You can do garlic. The one that I do for a quart calls for about 10 heads of garlic. Again, you can just smash these. I'm nothing elaborate. You'll want to take the peels off, especially if it's like supermarket garlic, but you're just trying to open things up. The more surface area that you have, the better the garlic is going to be able to get in there and extract the medicinal properties. So onion and garlic are both alliums, and they're in that family, and the alliums have a lot of sulfur in them, and there's a bunch of different reasons that they're believed to have health benefits, but one of them, and the most important, I think, for the fire cider is that they're anti-inflammatory. So these are going to be good for fighting inflammation in the body, and the less inflammation you have, the better your body can respond to other stressors. And so you just smash them up, and you can drop them in to the jar. And we're also going to add some citrus peels. It can be any kind of citrus. I just used some oranges from our yard here. Just those. There's the jar. I'll put it here. Maybe I'll put it like this so you can see it better. And you can add some juice. Again, this is like, because this is like a folk remedy, it's not an exact science. So you're just going to kind of do what feels good. It can be a little intuitive based on what you have. Now in Costa Rica, we're really fortunate. We have turmeric and ginger that grows here. So this actually came from the farm at the retreat center that I run. So I'm just going to grate these up. And you could use a lot of these. You could use powdered if that's what's easier for you to get in the States. Just try to make sure that it's as fresh as possible and organic. You know, you don't want to use like turmeric, you know, that like curry powder from a store that like feels old. Like this, you can see the color of this. It's really orange and vibrant and almost like a carrot. So you want that. I have some powdered ginger that was from our farm too. We'll be using it for one of the other recipes, but you can see it's really, really orange. That means there's a lot of curcumin, which is the active component. All right, so throw that in there. And then I'm going to use some herbs from well, some of them are from traditional Chinese medicine and are grown in North America too. You got to see some of our drying laundry. So I'm going to use some schizandra berries. Schizandra berries are used in traditional Chinese medicine, and they are an adaptogen. They're really helpful with helping our body adapt to stress. And I'm also going to use a few different roots. So I have, these are from Mountain Rose Herbs. I do keep an apothecary stock down here, and I bring these in from the US. So you can order from them. I'm sure Amazon has some of these things, but I really like Mountain Rose Herbs. They're a great company, really ethical. So I have astragalus, and I have burdock, and I also have licorice. So astragalus is also an adaptogen. It's just helping your body adapt to stress. The burdock is good for your blood and your lymph system, and the licorice is really supportive to your adrenals. So because they're roots, they're going to be harder to break down. So I did grind them in my spice grinder here. Actually, Paloma, my daughter, helped me do it. She loves to do that. You can also use a mortar and pestle if that's what you have, but the spice grinder is going to be easier. If you don't have a dedicated spice grinder, you can use your coffee grinder. Just make sure you clean it really well, or all your herbs are going to taste like coffee. So we're just going to pour these in here, nice and powdered up, so that, again, this is like that surface area thing. So the more surface area you have, the more it can get in there and extract. Okay. You can use thyme. I have some thyme, oregano. The one thing I don't have here on hand, aside from the horseradish, is hot pepper. So you would want to use like a chili pepper. Just chop it up. You can also use powdered cayenne. This one, it is not looking super full, but actually just one second. What you want is basically to load your jar until it's all the way full like this, and so that it's full like pretty much to the top. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pour your vinegar in until it fills all the spaces in. So this one is one that I made about 2 weeks ago, and you can see now everything's floating around in the vinegar, and I shake it once a day. If you have parchment paper, it's good to put parchment paper between the liquid and the cap. I didn't have any, so in this case it's okay. And you're just going to shake it once a day, and that's just going to help the vinegar get in there and break everything up. And once you've had it sitting for about a month, you're going to pull it out and strain it. You can keep all of this inside. You can grind it up in the blender and make like a paste with it, or like a pulp that you can cook with and stir fries and things like that. And then the liquid is what you're going to use to take. So you can take it as a shot. You can put it in some warm water. You can put it in cocktails or mocktails, and you can also use it in dressings. So you want to do like a shot of about a tablespoon or two every day. And then if you feel like you're getting sick, you want to use a little bit more, or a little bit less, but more often. So I'm also just going to quickly, that was fire cider, that was like the main recipe, and I'm just going to share quickly 2 other things, and I'm running close on the time. So the other thing I want to talk about quickly is infusing in honey. So first thing we're going to do is a simplified syrup. So normally with a syrup, what you're doing is making a decoction or a really strong tea. Decoction is when you're doing something like roots or berries that are stronger, and so they're usually boiled, and that's a decoction. And so you're going to do that and then cook it down till it's really concentrated, and then you're going to add honey. So that's what a normal syrup, like elderberry syrup or anything, that's how you make that. But if you wanted to skip all that and do like a simplified syrup, you can extract some things in honey. So here I chopped up some red onion, and I'm going to put it in this jar. I'm going to do the same, basically very similar to what we did with the fire cider. Smash some garlic. You're going to peel and grate some turmeric and some ginger. And again, basically what you want to do is just pile up your jar with all of your wonderful constituents. And then it's really simple. You just pour honey over it. My honey was in the fridge because bugs are a big thing in Costa Rica. So it's going to go really slow. But you're just going to want to pour it in and let it soak in there into all the little spots. So I will run out of time if we wait for this to do this, but that's the point. And that's the same thing you're doing with the vinegar, is you're just letting it soak up all the way in there. And here what I do is I put this preparation in a little jar of warm water so that like the ants and the bugs can't climb onto it. And I leave it out for a couple days and let it absorb and like shake it up. And then once it's good, you can stick it in the fridge. And you just like want to use it, you just stick a little spoon in there. And this is good for like if you have a cough. You can also put like the citrus juice in there, and it's just going to be like a nice tonic when you feel stuff coming on, and you can also use it as kind of like a cough syrup. Okay, and then the final extraction that we're going to do is just a really nice infused honey. And I'm really fortunate to have this amazing powdered ginger and turmeric from our farm. We have a certified organic farm at the retreat center, and grow a ton of turmeric and ginger. And so we got this dehydrated. And what I like to do with this is really simple, but really tasty. I just put like an equal amount of the powdered ginger and the turmeric, mix it up a little bit, and then I pour the honey over it. And you can play with this, obviously. So the turmeric and the ginger is really pungent and spicy, and the turmeric is pretty bitter. So the honey is going to offset that, but it's up to you how you want to balance it. So if you leave this really dense with a lot of the powdered herbs, it's going to be more potent and like impactful. If you put a lot more honey into it, it's going to be sweeter. And you're just going to like mix it up, and it ends up being kind of like a spread. Like I like it to be almost like the consistency of like a nut butter. And I keep it in the fridge so it stays, again, it's mostly because of the bugs, but it also keeps it a nice consistency. And I just eat it by the spoonful. I thought it was going to work to give to my daughter, but she says it's too spicy. But I think maybe I'll make this one sweeter than the one that I have in the fridge right now, and then she'll like it. But so you can just take it by the spoonful, and then you can also put it on toast with some coconut oil. The only thing you don't want to do with this is put it in your tea necessarily, because while honey is lovely as a flavoring for tea, when you put honey in hot liquids, you actually are impeding some of its health benefits. You kill off, no, not kill off, but you impede, you break down some of the components that make it antimicrobial, antibacterial. So it's best, especially I'm recommending that you use raw honey, and try to avoid getting it hot. If that's the only way you're going to take it, go for it. But you'll mostly be getting the turmeric and the ginger. This would be nice in like a cup of chai tea or something. You can also play with this to do like a golden milk, but those are the basic ideas. So I went a little bit over, but I just want to know if anybody has any questions. Okay, looks good. So yeah, so these are 3 simple things that you can do to get started. I just wanted to share them because I feel like making your own medicine is super empowering, especially in a time of a health crisis. So these are things that you can do to just be boosting your immunity and feel connected with what you're putting in your body to help nourish it. So thank you so much, ladies, for your time and for hosting me. And I look forward to connecting with you more.